Hello and welcome to Friday Art. Today we're going to do crocheted toadstools, because why not? These are so easy to do. If you know how to crochet, you'll do them super quick, but they're also really good for beginners. We're going to be using just one stitch, maybe another one but a bit later on, but it's just going to be one stitch, and I really hope you're going to enjoy it. Welcome to Friday Art with me, Kate Field. I'm an artist, teacher, writer and a speaker, passionate about helping people to discover their creativity and to develop their own art skills. So in all of my tutorials, and I release them every Monday and Friday, I really encourage you to do your own thing. So don't just kind of religiously follow me. Unless you are totally new and you've got no idea what you're doing, then you do that. But if you want to break some of the rules, then you go ahead and break them. You can use whatever colours you like. I'm having a bit of a woodland theme in my Christmas decorations this year, and I will show you those next week, because I haven't done them yet, because I'm still working on it. The days seem to go past really quickly, and of course we had the power cuts as well because of the storm. I hope you're well. I really do. Thank you for those of you who keep following me. It's just so lovely. Thank you so much. I read all of your comments. Oh my gosh, they are so uplifting. It's wonderful. Right, enough of me waffling on. I'm going to show you how to make this little toadstool and a few other variations as well. Let's go. So the other good thing about these little toadstool designs, apart from the flexibility, and you can do your own thing with them, is that you can just use up all your scraps, can't you? And because it doesn't take, oh, a bit of tissue there, it doesn't take up much. But you can use any yarn you like, and this is why I don't want you to kind of strictly adhere to the pattern, because you might not have the stuff. I've just got my sort of leftover ones, and because I want to do a kind of a woodland theme, I've decided to go for more sort of like rustic colours. But you know, as you can see on this one, I did it in purple and orange. that was quite fun. This one's just sort of a greeny grey. But we're going to start off by making this bit in the middle. So let's look at what you're going to need. So you're going to need a crochet hook. Now, because I teach crochet in real life classes, I have a whole collection of different hooks. These are just a very small collection. Metal ones with a plastic or kind of rubberized grip, which are quite comfy, and wooden ones. I've got bamboo ones as well. But you use whatever you have. If you've got a plastic one, that's fine. It doesn't matter. If you're a beginner, you just want to start off with something that's going to be easy to use. I quite like wooden ones. I go through different phases. They have to be smooth. They can't have any scratchy bits on them, so I always rub them down with a little bit of fine sandpaper. And at the moment I'm going through this sort of phase of using the grips, but you use whatever is comfortable for you. And the same with the size. Now, this is a 4mm crochet hook, which is what I'm going to use today. But again, depending on how big you want your toadstool, then that's going to be determined by the hook size that you use. I'm going to start off just trying to think what is going to be easiest for you to see. I'm going to do it with this one, because the first thing we're going to do is to start off with a magic ring. I'm just going to mention now about the differences between the UK and the US on crochet terminology. So when I say a double crochet in the UK, it's a single crochet in the US. When I do a treble, it's a double. Because in this tutorial, I'm only going to be using one stitch. I'm going to be using UK double crochet, which is single crochet in the US. I'm just going to call it the crochet stitch. and I hope you can just follow along. I will put instructions below, and I will put a pattern as well in both UK and US. Apologies if you are somewhere else in the world and you use something even different, even more different. I just wish there was a standard, but there isn't. So we go with what we have. So the other thing you're going to need is a small pair of scissors and a darning needle, but we'll just put those there. Now the other thing that I use is a notebook. This is a notebook that my lovely cousin Maria made me. How gorgeous is that? Look at that. I use it for all my notes for knitting and crochet. It's useful to jot down what you've done, especially if you're not going to be able to do this all in one go, which, you know, let's be honest, not many of us are going to be able to do that. We're going to start with a magic ring. Drop your thread, wrap it round, cross it over the top, get your hook underneath, pull that through so you've got a loop there, and do a chain. And that's just, I've just pulled that out because this yarn is quite fluffy. So you have your chain. I'm going to do that again. If you know how to do a magic ring, you just skip this bit. Fold it over, wrap it round so it's crossed over there, hook underneath, bring that one through, and hook. If you don't want to use a magic chain, you could just chain 4. Then I just take that loop out. You don't have to do that, but I tend to do it because it makes it tidy. After you've got your magic ring, you're going to chain 2. This is going to be your first crochet, and then what we're going to do is double crochet double crochet all the way around 11 times. So single crochets for my American viewers. Put it in. Now I have got a tutorial on how to do these individual stitches if this is something that you are not familiar with. So basically we're just going to do 11 plus that chain 2 that we did at the beginning, so we end up with 12. So I'm going in to the space, picking it up, wrapping that round, pulling it through. And the tricky thing for me is to keep counting because I've lost count already. But we're going to do 12 all the way around until we get back to the beginning. So I've done my 12. You do need to keep counting. It's really important. And again, when you're a beginner, it's quite difficult to see where your stitches are. This is the first double chain here. And then there, can you see that kind of V pattern? They're each individual crochets. And that's my 12. Now this is why I like the magic ring. I'm just going to pull that bit that we had at the beginning and just pull it really tight, and it comes together like that. We're going to be using this a bit later. So we've come round to the beginning. So this is where my chain, my 2 chain stitches are. I'm going to go into that top chain, and I'm just going to do a slip stitch or a single crochet just to tie it to there. I'm going to do another chain. This time I'm just going to chain 1, and then I'm going to go into that space there. Now if you go a little bit wrong here, it doesn't actually matter, but that's where we're aiming. And what we're going to do now is 2 double crochets or single crochets in each of those holes, so that we've got 12 at the moment and we'll end up with 24. Again, just going to put that in, and then like this, it's going to go all the way round. So basically we're making a circle, and this is the start of all sorts of things. Now I've made a mistake already because I'm talking to you. Let's just pull that out, pop that back in again. This is the problem when I'm talking and doing the crochet at the same time. Right, well, I want to do 2 in the same hole. So we end up with 24 all the way round. 2 in there. Now you could put a marker where you start. I'm not going to do that because it's going to stop you seeing what I'm doing. But you can put a little marker at the beginning as you go all the way around. But as you become more familiar with your crochet, then you'll see where that is. So 2 crochets in each stitch. Just going to move those out of the way because they're going to start to get tangled up. So into the hole all the way round. And I'll see you back at the beginning. So I've got back to the beginning. That's where that double chain was, right at the beginning. I'm just going to tuck that bit in there. And I'm just going to pull that through. Now, sometimes I'll just work round in a spiral, and you can definitely do that if you want to. So you just keep going with it. Now, but this is the top of my toadstool. So what I want to do now is to sort of continue, but I want to create, let me just find this one. I want it to start coming down. I don't want it to be flat, you know, like a doily. I want it to start to form. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to put a few increases in. Now, if you want to do something that's like that turns out to be like an octagon, then you do your regular increases. But I don't want that. I want it to be a bit more random. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to do another crochet, again the same stitch into that one that I've just done. And then over these, I've got 24 stitches all the way around. I'm just going to increase it by another 8 or 9 stitches. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect because we're doing a toadstool. So you want it to be a little bit on the quirky side. So the idea is that we don't do this in a uniform way. So I'm going to do 1 single into that one, and then I'm going to put 2 in the next one. Then I'm going to do another one on its own, working my way around, and then another one. And then I'm going to put 2 in this one, just so that we can have this. I don't want it to be even. So if you're doing something like a snowflake, then obviously you want your pattern to be beautifully symmetrical, but I don't want this to be symmetrical. I want it to be a bit wobbly because it's a toadstool. So I put another 2 in there. And this is where the kind of the freedom of crochet comes in, and this is what I encourage all of my students to do. I'm going to do 3 in a row. Is not to just blindly follow, but to start to be creative. This is the whole essence of my teaching, really. My teaching philosophy is, yes, you take a pattern to get you going, and then you can start to do your own thing, and that's when it really starts to get exciting. So I've put another 2 in that one. I've got a little bit caught up in there because this wool is very fluffy. I've had to shut the studio door because if my cats know that I'm doing knitting or crochet, they will appear and they will sit on the wool. That's what they do. Which is quite funny and very sweet, but not helpful when I'm trying to do a tutorial. So I'm going to go all the way around. So there's going to be so about 30 2 stitches, something like that. Just, you see it's starting to, it's growing a little bit, you can see, but not in a uniform way. I hope this makes sense to you. It's not always that easy to do it online, is it? When I was doing a class last week with crochet with people who were complete beginners, and it was much easier if I was sitting next to them. I could say, oh yeah, that's what you've done. So we're going all the way around. That's my beginning bit here. I'm just going to do that. But what I really want you to encourage you to do is just to look at your work and just think, oh, is that what I want? So you can see it's grown a little bit. It's not even. I don't have a perfect hexagon or octagon or something like that, because I don't want that. I'm just going to pop that in here. Okay, so I'm back to where I started. Now I definitely want to start coming in, so I'm just going to do a whole round of just 1 stitch into each previous stitch all the way round. So, and I'm just working through that. And again, you could do a chain to begin, or you could just work as I am, so it will start to go into a spiral. Again, just have a bit of a play with it. So this is our round 3, and we're just going to do a stitch all the way round, 1 stitch, so we have the same count. Whether you've increased your previous one by 9 or 10, that's fine. I increased mine by 9, so I'll end up with, how many will I end up with? 33 all the way around. But I like this idea of just sort of freestyle crochet, because you really do develop your style, your techniques, and it's fun. Yeah, obviously there's some things where following a pattern is really important, and I do that certainly with my knitting in particular. I will follow a pattern, but often if I've created it once, maybe I've made a jumper or cardigan or something like that, and I think I really like it, and then I think, right, I wonder what else I could do with this, and then I start to adapt it a little bit more. Now I've lost count where I am, so I'm just going to pause and just make sure that I've got my 33 all the way around, and then I'll show you the next step. So what I've done, I've just put a little marker in there, just a thread, and I thought I'm going to join some new yarn. Just going to snip that bit off. I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this. So I've got 33 stitches all the way around, and again I want to do an increase, but I don't want it to be regular. So what I'm going to do is first of all join this on. I'm going to loop that round so that it comes into there, so that it's joined, and then what I'm going to do is to crochet in over these, so we don't have to weave them in at the end, because honestly that is the most boring bit, isn't it, of crochet and knitting, is like tidying up all the ends. So I've got my new thread here, and what we're going to do is we're going to go and into each one, but we're just going to pick that one up, and again this is a little bit fluffy, and it just means that all of those are nicely tidied up. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to do 1 double crochet, single crochet into the next 3 stitches, you can see like that, and then I'm going to do my increase. So I'm going to do a double in this one, and then another one. So I'm doing 2 into there, and then I'm going to do 1 crochet into the next 2, and then I'm going to do 2 into the next one. So I'm just sort of increasing it a little bit as I go around. Then I'm going to do singles, so just keeping these tags in here, into the next 4, 2, 3 and 4. Again, if you know how to do this, you can skip this bit, can't you? 4, unless you just want to hear me having a chat. And then I'm going to do 2 in the next one. 1, 2, and then I'm going to do the next 3. Coming to the end of those little ones there. And what will happen is it will just start to increase all the way around, as you can see, but not in a uniform way, like I said before. And we're going to go all the way around, increasing a little bit by little bit by little bit, and we're going to increase by 12 stitches. So you can work out how to do that one with your own one, and if it's 11 stitches or 13 stitches, that's fine. Don't worry about it at all. You just want to increase it by about 12. And I can't stress this enough, actually, how I really do encourage every single one of my students to try out new things and not to religiously follow the pattern. There are some absolutely fantastic crochet teachers on YouTube. They're absolutely brilliant, and I've learned so much from them. I will link a few below, actually, because they are superb. But they are very much, you follow this pattern and this is what you get at the end. And that's absolutely true. And if you're a beginner, if you want to learn how to do something new that you haven't done before, then it's a fantastic way to learn how to do crochet. But if you want to start breaking out, doing your own thing, then this kind of exercise is brilliant, because it doesn't matter what size you end up with. It's not like it's got to fit somebody. And so you can have that bit of freedom. And for me, as a teacher, as an art teacher, this is really important. It's really important that people have a freedom when they're working to be able to express themselves in different ways. And what I love when I'm teaching is when a student will say to me, "Oh, Kate, what would happen if I do this?" Yay! Absolutely love that. It's just an absolutely brilliant question, because it's like, sometimes I've got no idea. You do it and let me know. or I will know what will happen, but I won't tell them. I'll just let them work it out for themselves, because that's what being a teacher is about. It really is. Right, so I've gone back to the beginning, and I am going to go around in a spiral with this bit now. So I've come all the way around, and so I'm just going to continue with the spiral. This top bit's going to be a little bit bigger, but what we're going to do now is create a ridge. Now, the reason why is because what I want to do is to attach the stalk bit a bit later, and I've got a stitch that I can attach it to. And the way we do that is very easy. We're just going to crochet into the front loop. So normally we would go through both, but this time we're just going to go through the front. And again, because I want to kind of create a bit of a ridge on this toadstool, we're just going to do every single one. We're not going to do an increase. We're just going to go all the way around into that front loop. So you can just, let me just stick my needle in. It's this one here. You're going to go in through there, through that front loop. And then what will happen is these back loops will stick out a little bit, and we'll be able to use those to attach the stem of the toadstool. It's just a little trick, really. Just wiggle that in. So I'm going to do that all the way round. So I'm not doing any increase at all. I'm just creating that ridge with the crochet stitch going through that front loop all the way around. So I've gone all the way around, and because I'm doing a spiral, so you can see that ridge there, all I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into the next stitch, pull it through, and just do a slip stitch or a single crochet, depending on where you are. And this is now going to be turned the other way, like that, because can you see that ridge now? That's where I'm going to attach the toadstool stem. So if I look at here, this one, so this is a really fat one. If you wanted to make your toadstool stem smaller, then you could do your ridge earlier on. And you don't have to do it this way, it just makes it easier. I just think it's easier. Right, we're now going to do an increase again. So we're still on the 33. And I want to increase it by another 12. So I'm just going to add 12 additional stitches randomly around the edge. Again, I don't want it to be angled at all, and that's what will happen if you do it with a pattern like sort of 4-3-4-3, something like that. It won't work. So I'm just going to do a chain because I want to lift that up. I've stopped going around in a spiral. I just wanted to show you that little spiral. You could continue with a spiral if you wanted to. That's fine. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back into the hole that I've just done. So I've got 2. Then I'm going to go. Oh. I love this yarn. It's a combination of alpaca and acrylic, and I used it. I had a whole I had about 4 or 5 balls of it, and I made loads of scarves for the family last year actually, and then I've just got this bit left. So I'm going 1, 2, 3, and then 2 in the same stitch. So that's my second increase, and I need to do 10 more all the way round. So I'm just going to do, so I could do 1 and then put another double in there. 1, 2, and I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then put 2 in the next one. 1, 2, and I'm going to do similar all the way around until I have increased it by 12, which will put me up to 45. So I'm back to the beginning. So I've now got 45 stitches all the way round. I'm going to carry on in a spiral, so I'm not doing a chain. I'm just going to carry on, and the pattern I'm going to do now is 1 crochet into the next stitch, followed by 2 crochets in the next one, and we're going to do that all the way around. So we will end up with 90, and this is going to start to create a little bit of a ripple, which I really like in a toadstool. So we'll have 1 in the next one, and then 2 in the next stitch, 1 in the next one, and 2 in the next. We will do that all the way round. So I do apologise, you won't end up with 90, you'll end up with 67 or 68, depending on kind of where your pattern went. Yeah, I kind of got a bit confused on what I was doing with my maths at that point. So this is the right side. The wrong side is where we've got that ridge where we did the loop, where we did the stitch in the front loop. So I am going to finish off this bit now, but what you could do, I'm just going to show you on this one, is you could add different sorts of edges to your toadstool if you wanted to, and you could always come back and do that. I am just going to finish this off now, so I'm just going to cut my yarn there, and I'm just going to thread that through, and I will weave that one in later. But I'm going to turn it over now, because what we're going to do is the stalk. I'm just going to show you how to do that. So we're just going to pick up on those ridges here, and I think I'm going to choose a different colour. I've got some grey, got a bit of grey, and I think that will work well with my woodland theme. Or actually I have got that as well, that might be better. Yeah, I think I'm going for this one. But you have whatever you've got left over, and what we're going to do is to just pick, what I am going to do is just going to pull that through so it's not in the way. Yes, just do that. Right, okay. That's where I did the spiral. And I'm going to join, I'm just going to pick it up somewhere randomly through that loop. So that's the old back loop. Pull that through like that. And again, I'm going to leave that bit and weave it through. I'm going to chain 1. And then I'm going to crochet through each of the loops. I don't know whether you can see that. Let me try and pull this through so that you can see it. Actually, using this contrast would be helpful. Actually, I'm going to pick up that. Oh, there we go. It's that ridge there. I'm just going to pick that up as I go as well, like that. It's a bit tricky. Let me just move that out of the way so that you can see. But it's these stitches here that you're going to be doing your one stitch all the way around. So on that ridge, just so that you can attach it. Now, of course, you could do your stem separately and then just sew it on, but you know, this is neater, I think, when we get going with it, and I think it looks better. I'm just going to pull that, keep that one in that little leftover bit. Just do a few more so that you can see what I'm doing. So you can see that is attached. And I'm going to do that all the way around, and I'll show you what we do when we get to this bit. So I've gone all the way around, picking it up on those loops, and I'm just going to join up. I'm going to do this in a spiral, so I'm just going to pick that one up there, loop it through with another crochet stitch. And then this is where you're going to make a decision, because you might want your stem to start off wide and go narrower and then come out again, or you might want it like this one to just be uniform all the way down. I've put another little ridge in there. You could do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work a crochet stitch in each one all the way around, and then I'm going to start to reduce. So I'm going to show you how to do a reduced stitch. Let's just do a few in here. I'll do it on this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in, pick up the loop, and then we're going to go in through the next one, pick up the loop, so you end up with 3, wrap it round, and then just pull it through, and that's a reduce by 1. So I'm going to go round, and I'm going to reduce this. Well, I'm going to go all the way round on this actually. First of all, I'm not going to do a reduce on this row, but you can if you want to. And I will reduce my next round by 10 or 12, I think, something like that. So make it a bit more narrow. And again, I'm not going to do it in a uniform way. It will be random stitch reduction. And as we go all the way around like this. So you can see that I'm beginning to get the stem, and then that bit will go over the top like that. So you can see how it's all beginning to come together. I'm going to go all the way around. I'm going to do another reduction, and I'm going to come back to finish off the bottom. So it will be, you know, a bit like this one. You see, like that. It's really cute, isn't it? So cute. And you can go for a very long stem if you want to, or a short dumpy one. And then I will show you how we finish it off. So I've done a few more rounds. I did a few more reductions, and I'm just sort of coming now to the bottom of the toadstool stalk. Now you can do your stalk for as long and as short as you want, and I'm just going to start to do a bit more reducing. So I'm just sort of reducing as I'm going around in my spiral, sort of pulling the stitches together, just doing each one. You can see they start to pull in together. Putting it in each one, sort of beginning to close it in. And then you can think about how you're going to stuff your mushroom. Mushroom? No, that sounds like a cooking recipe. It's a toadstool, isn't it? Oh dear me, there's so many things I have got to do over the next few days. If you haven't liked this tutorial and you've got this far, that would be nice. And if you haven't subscribed, that would be lovely as well. Just, as you can see, I'm just sort of reducing that little bit by little bit. If you'd like to join the Facebook group, that would be lovely. It is such a friendly place. Oh my goodness me, it is just so lovely. It's a place where you can share what you've been creating, you can ask questions, you can support other people. It's a lovely, lovely place. The link is all below. Let's just to do that. It's because I was talking again. You see, I've got distracted. So you can see that that's kind of being pulled in. I'll do another bit. I'm just going to stuff this with an old sock actually, but you could, depending on what you want to do with them, you can stuff them with all sorts of stuff. Just newspaper, tissue paper, proper stuffing. You could do that, but not what you do for a stuffed mushroom, because that would just be silly. It's, oh dear me, sometimes I do feel that I am kind of losing it a little bit. got lots of things going on. This weekend I've got 2 gigs. I sing with an a cappella group, which I will share with you, some of our Christmas songs if you'd like that. I'm just going to tie that up. So little gap there that I'm going to get my old sock, shove that in there to bring it up. It's just, and then I will finish that off. And then this bit, I'm going to do a chain to connect it, but you could just use that. That would work just as well. That's what I did with this one. And in this one also I added some more buttons. And the other thing is that if you want to add some more around the top, you can do that. You can just add that later. So I'm just going to go and get that sock and then finish it all off. This old sock, lots of holes in it. And I'm just going to use it to pop in there. Like that. Put it all in. And, it's going to be dependent on how stuffed you want your toadstool. But that's one sock is good. It's all good. And then I'm going to, that's just that loop there. Tie it in a little bit more. Again, just sort of reduce it a little bit more. A couple more, I think. And then I'm going to get my darning needle. Yeah, that would be good. So I'm just going to do that last stitch and pull that through like that. There we go. Get my darning needle. I have got more sophisticated ones, but I was working with the children last week and we were using these ones. And then I'm just going to weave in through the gaps like that. And you see that's just pulling it together bit by bit. Just see, just all comes in like that. Just going to weave a little bit more in to secure it like that. I'm going to chop the end off a little bit. And then you can just sort of poke it through, or you could put some little beads and things so it will kind of dangle, but I'm not going to do that with this one. I'm just going to leave this, so shove that in there like that, and there we are. Didn't finish off that one, so let's just weave that in as well. Let's just pop it into there. Turn it over and just tidy up the ends. I'm just going to weave it in. Oh, that's not very good. Like that. Pull that through and just snip like that. And then I am going to do a chain because I want to make it a little bit longer. But there we are. There we have our little Christmas toadstool. And I've got this one to finish off. And I'll finish that off in exactly the same way. Like that. I really hope you enjoyed that tutorial, that you've got lots of ideas, that you're going to make lots and lots of toadstools. Because, who doesn't need lots of toadstools in their house? And if you'd like to see some more, then you might want to check out this one. or this one. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.